A tour of the proposed British interior and furniture designer archive. Please excuse the presumption of adding to this draft archive's introduction page mention of both the British Institute of Interior Design and the Design Centre London, together with the roles we hope they might choose to take on. We have purposely kept the architecture of this draft site precisely structured, simple and easy to navigate, knowing that over the years it will grow to an enormous size. Purposely, no contact page is proposed. Selected designers will be invited to assemble individual archives of their own making, in which a lack of prescribed templates and content will ensure the clearest expression of how each of these designers chooses to present themselves and their personal contribution to the ever-lengthening spiral of our collective designer DNA. On the introduction page, the draft text is kept short and to the point. The second of only 3 archive pages is called The Designers. Below the date 1920, you'll see a portrait of Nancy Lancaster, who started her design career in this decade, together with relevant name and dates. Click on Nancy's portrait. This opens her individual page, which shows her sensational butter yellow drawing room. Many will agree that her significance within UK design history rightly awards a first place in the BIFDA archive. This image is followed by a dummy introduction. Max we propose for all design introductions 150 words. At the bottom of the page there's a link to Nancy's third-party archive, still to be assembled and added to the site. Scroll down through the decades. In the decade 1950, stop at David Hicks and click on his portrait. This opens David's individual page, which shows an example of his work followed by a dummy introduction, later to be replaced by a third-party version. At the bottom of this page there's a link to David's third-party archive. Hopefully Ashley, his son, will agree to compile this. An important aside about certain of our most influential designers. Some of these designers may feel that their work is already adequately recorded in publications specifically about them, but should not find this sufficient reason to withhold their record from the BIFDA archive. If this archive is to be a complete historical record, these, our most influential designers, generation after generation, and including links to these publications, must be represented. Without doubt, inclusion in the BIFDA archive will ensure that their important monographs continue to be brought to the attention of future generations. Return to the Designers page and scroll down to decade 1980. Click on the portrait of Joanna Wood. This opens Joanna's individual page, also showing an example of her work followed by a dummy introduction. The true introduction that replaces this as elsewhere should be written by the designer themselves, so that each can introduce themselves as each considers best. This approach is likely to be far more interesting and illuminating than imposing a templated, standardized approach. As Joanna is still in business, the link below is to her company website. This is an important opportunity for each participating designer to reflect deeply on a passion that has illuminated their lives so brightly, to make a personal record of this through their own archive, and to have this held and shared with future generations through the BIFDA archive. Return to the Designers page, same decade. Click on the portrait of Tim Gosling to open Tim's individual page. As with Joanna's page, the dummy introduction will be replaced by one of Tim's making. Return to the Designers page, same decade, and click on the portrait of Derek Frost to open his individual page. This page and the archive that accompanies it is the only currently completed BIFDA Designer archive. For this reason, this talk gives closer attention to Derek's archive in order to illustrate the wealth of information that will be contained in each designer's archive. Hit link at bottom of page headed Designer's Archive. Hit box Art Furniture Catalogue Raisonné. Scroll down the catalogue. Return to the archive's first page. Select either Press Interiors or Press Furniture for sight of editorial records relating to Derek's work. Return to the archive's first page. Select Art Furniture Drawings. Select DMDQ, which opens with working drawings describing a dining table and an image of the completed table. Select Promotions and Exhibitions, then UK British Interior Design Exhibition, London 1989, for sight of Derek's room at this acclaimed event, his writing room for a collector. Derek's designing years span a shorter period of time than almost any that is likely to appear in the BIFDA archive. Should anyone accessing the archive want to know why, this is explained in his own archive by hitting boxes titled Closing Derek Frost Associates or The Story. Returning to the three-part menu of the main archive, hit Timeline. This page shows, in graphic form, the active design years of each BIFDA designer, starting from 1920 and continuing decade by decade down and across a single page of this chart into the future. Move the cursor to the left-hand column of designer names and click on Emily Todhunter. This opens Emily's individual page. Still in business with her partner Kate Earle, this links to their designer's company website. Currently, the proposed draft site timeline does not allow the user to click on any of the heading dates to open further information. This will be amended by the web designers so that clicking on a specific year will allow the user to jump to a specific decade on the designers page, allowing them to identify all designers working during that period. Return to the designers page. Scroll down to see additional dummy designer entries for years 2000, 2010, 2020. Return to the introduction page. Thank you for finding time to watch this video. We sincerely hope you will decide to support and contribute to the birth of the British Interior and Furniture Designer Archive.